20 hours in that hospital room. 20 hours of pacing the floor, holding her hand, fetching ice chips, whispering encouragement between contractions like it mattered. I thought the hardest part of the day was over. It wasn't. She lay there in the hospital bed, exhausted, damp hair stuck to her forehead, but something in her eyes was sharp, focused. It didn't match the moment. She didn't look like a woman who had just given birth. She looked like someone waiting for a cue. The nurse came in smiling, holding a clipboard. "Time to get this little guy registered," she said gently, nodding toward our son, my son, sleeping in the clear crib beside her. I stepped forward automatically. I'd waited months for this. I was ready to put my name down, ready to be a father, ready to make this real. But before I could reach for the form, Samantha snatched it out of the nurse's hand. "I'll handle it," she said coolly. I blinked. "Hey, I should sign too." She didn't look at me. "No need. He'll be taking my mother's last name." It took me a second to process what I'd just heard. "What?" She turned to face me, eyes locked in. "He's not taking your name." The nurse hesitated beside her, clearly caught off guard. "That's not." "What do you mean he's not?" I asked. "He's my son." Samantha gave a low, humorless laugh. "Let's not start pretending now." I felt the nurse shift her weight beside me. "Mr. Hale," she said softly, glancing between us. "Do you want me to explain?" Samantha's head whipped toward her. "Don't." The nurse didn't move. "Sir, due to a flag marker in the baby's screening, we ran additional tests. It's hospital protocol when there are genetic irregularities. That's how we—" My body froze. "How you what?" Her voice dropped. "You're not listed as a biological match." The room went silent. Completely. No sounds, no monitors, no thoughts. Just a static hum in my brain. Samantha finally looked me in the eye. "There. Now you know." My hand fell from the edge of the clipboard. "You're telling me I'm not his father?" She gave a small shrug. "Technically, no." I stared down at the baby, swaddled in blue, eyes closed, peaceful. This child I had painted a nursery for, bought onesies for, argued over crib placement for. Not mine. I looked at her again. "Whose is he?" She didn't answer. I stepped closer. "Say his name." A pause. "Damien. The one from your office." She smiled. "My manager. The one you said was like a brother." "He was." "Then he wasn't." I felt something shift in my chest. Like something cracked, but refused to break. "How long?" I asked. 8 months. That put the affair starting before the pregnancy. This wasn't a one-night thing. It was planned. It was hidden. It was layered. I looked at the nurse, still standing awkwardly, clearly uncomfortable. I nodded once. She left without a word. Back to Samantha. "You got pregnant on purpose, didn't you?" Her face didn't move. "You knew Damien didn't want kids. So you used me." She gave the slightest smirk. "You were excited. I let you stay excited. I bought diapers. I built furniture. I let you. You filmed me painting the nursery. You looked happy. That was the point." She shifted in the bed, adjusting her blanket with one hand like this was a casual conversation. "Honestly, I almost terminated. But seeing you so eager, it was easier to let you play dad. There was a time I would have yelled, cursed, thrown something. That time had passed. Instead, I said nothing. I walked out, through the hallway, past the baby photos on the wall, past the vending machines, the exhausted nurses, the other fathers smiling through tears, down to the garage, into my car. And I sat there, staring at the wheel, breathing, not because I lost a child, because I lost the illusion. The woman I had trusted, built a future with, planned a family with, had never been who she claimed to be. And this was just the beginning. I went back the next day, not for closure, not for peace, for answers. I walked into her room just after noon. She was awake, showered, makeup on, her hair curled at the ends like she'd just stepped out of a salon, not a delivery room. She didn't look surprised to see me. Well, she said, without even glancing up from her phone. "Didn't expect you back so soon." I stood there, arms crossed. "Who is he?" She didn't miss a beat. "Damien Voss. My manager. The one who gave you that fake award at the holiday party?" "Same one." I took a step closer. "You told me he was like family." Her eyes finally met mine, and there was no guilt in them. Just calculation. Things change. I wanted to hit something. Instead, I paced to the window, took a breath, and turned back. "How long?" 8, 9 months. Depends how you define it. Define it? Try betrayal. She rolled her eyes. "You were always so dramatic. You got pregnant on purpose, didn't you?" She didn't deny it. Damien didn't want a baby, she said, adjusting her blanket like we were discussing a change in weekend plans. I did. You were easy to manipulate. I stared at her, stunned by the ease in her tone. You let me think it was mine. You acted like it was. Honestly, watching you assemble that crib was kind of sweet. I didn't respond. I was too busy replaying the moments. The late nights at work. The sudden coldness. The way she snapped when I offered to bring food to her office. The fake gym sessions. The overpriced lingerie I never saw. The new perfume that didn't smell like anything she ever wore for me. I should have seen it, I muttered. She looked back at her phone. Yeah, you should have. There was no remorse. No shame. Just indifference sharpened into cruelty. I carried you through layoffs, through debt, through your father's funeral, I said. And you repaid that with lies? You carried yourself, she replied. I was just there for the show. That one stung. Not because it hurt. Because it was deliberate. You know what this is? I said. It's fraud. Relax, she scoffed. You didn't sign anything. Technically, you're not the father. So legally, I'm in the clear. You sure about that? That caught her attention. She raised an eyebrow. What are you planning? I'm not planning anything, I said. I'm documenting. She sat up straighter now. You're going to try and ruin me? No, I said. You already did that yourself. I'm just making sure you don't get to rewrite the ending. She laughed. You think anyone's going to care that your fragile male ego got bruised? I didn't answer. Because that wasn't what this was. This wasn't about ego. This was about truth. She built a false life on top of mine. Dragged me into fatherhood as a tool to protect her own lie. I turned to leave. My hand was on the door when she said, he's not going to stay, you know. Damien. He told me it was temporary. I paused. Then you really played yourself, I said without turning back. Now you have a baby, no job security, and a viral reputation coming your way. She tried to sound amused. You wouldn't. But her voice cracked, just slightly. I walked out without another word. The hallway felt quieter this time, like it had witnessed the shift. I wasn't chasing her anymore. I wasn't pleading. I was positioning. Back at my brother's place, I opened my laptop. Started logging dates. Messages. Flags I'd ignored. October. Late work dinner. November. Girls' trip. She came back with new heels and no receipts. December. Miscarriage scare, but no hospital records. January. The pregnancy test. Planted. Maybe. Or maybe real. Either way, it was a weapon. She hadn't just cheated. She'd strategized. And now? So would I. I left the apartment the way people exit a crime scene. Quiet, expressionless, with no need to take anything sentimental. Just the essentials. A bag of clothes. My documents. The charger to a life that no longer existed. As I stepped out the door, my phone buzzed. Samantha, don't forget to leave your keys. This is my place now. No emotion. Just entitlement. I slid the keys onto the kitchen counter and closed the door behind me for the last time. The lock clicked like a coffin lid. Connor didn't ask questions when I showed up at his place. Just stepped aside, handed me a beer, and nodded toward the spare room. I dropped my bag, sat on the couch, and stared at the wall. He finally said, you need to get ahead of this. I know. You need proof. I'm already on it. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I sat in the dark with my laptop, combing through digital history like a forensic analyst. Samantha wasn't careful. Or maybe she was just arrogant. Her iCloud was still connected to the old shared tablet she left in the closet. A few taps, and suddenly her private life wasn't so private anymore. There were selfies from hotel rooms. She told me she was at work trips. The timestamp said otherwise. One photo caught me cold, her lying on our bed, wearing my shirt, Damien in the background brushing his teeth. She'd brought him into our home. Another image, her in the baby's nursery, belly showing, mirror selfie captioned, can't believe he still thinks it's his. The rage didn't hit like fire. It settled like steel. I started building a folder. Photos. Screenshots. Conversations. Samantha, Ryan's still painting the walls like we're a team. It's cute. Damien, let him. More energy for us later. They laughed at me in pixels and captions. I kept scrolling. There were appointment confirmations, OB/GYN visits I was never told about. Audio recordings she'd sent him from the doctor's office. Her whispering, heartbeat strong. He thinks it's his. I paused. My thumb hovered over the delete key. Then I moved it to a backup drive instead. By morning, I had over 120 files. Metadata, location stamps, receipts, Chat logs. I gave it a name. Archive. H. That afternoon, I made an appointment with a lawyer. Jules Merrick. Early 40s. Family law specialist. Wore practical shoes and didn't flinch when I laid everything out on her desk. DNA confirmed? She asked. Hospital has it on file. You didn't sign the certificate? She blocked me from touching it. Her eyes narrowed slightly. Then we might have leverage. If she listed you without full disclosure, that's misrepresentation at best. Possibly fraud. I want to prevent future damage, I said. I don't care about revenge. I care about control. Good, she said. You're not the first. She scrolled through the flash drive, occasionally pausing. This one with Damien brushing his teeth. This is in your house. Yes. Date stamped. Yes. Your name's on the lease? Yes. She nodded slowly. Then it's trespassing. Adultery in a shared residence. That matters. I want a paper trail, I said. So if she ever spins this to a judge, HR, a blog, whatever, there's one version. And it's mine. You'll have it. I left the office with a manila folder and a different posture. I wasn't dragging my feet anymore. I was planting them. That night, back at Connor's place, I printed everything. Labeled it. Dated it. Put the pages in a binder and set it on the table like evidence in a trial that hadn't happened yet. Samantha wanted me out of the picture. She forgot I'm the one holding the negatives. It came out of nowhere. A message from a number I didn't recognize. Hey, we've never met, but I think we need to talk. Damien V. I stared at the screen for a full minute. Then I called. He answered immediately. Ryan. Yeah. It's Damien. I didn't respond. I found your number in Samantha's phone. She's been selective about what she tells each of us. I kept silent. Let him sweat. She told me you lost it in the hospital. That you made up some story about not being the father. She didn't tell you the test confirmed it? No, he said. I found that out myself. Yesterday. I checked the file. And what now? You looking for absolution? No, he said quickly. I'm looking for the truth. Because she lied to me too. I exhaled through my nose. She told me you were just her boss. She told me you were separated. That you knew about us. That the baby was yours. She's good at recycling stories. He paused. She's saying she'll file for support. That I owe her something. She said the same about you when we talked. Jesus. I didn't pity him. I just understood. We set a time. Neutral ground. A worn-out coffee shop just off 4th Street. Fluorescent lights. Chipped mugs. No one who'd care to eavesdrop. He looked worse than I expected. Messy hair. Hollow cheeks. Wearing yesterday's shirt. He slid a small drive across the table like it might explode. What's this? Everything. Screenshots. Messages. Her voice notes. From the past year. Why give this to me? She nuked my life. My wife kicked me out the night I found out. I've got nothing to lose anymore. I plugged it into my laptop right there. Folder structure was clean. /texts. /photos. /voice notes. /screenshots. I opened the first image. Samantha sitting on my couch, wrapped in the throw blanket my mother gave us, holding a wine glass, smirking. Behind her, Damien's bare feet on my coffee table. She told me you were away on business, he said quietly. I said. Next folder, messages. Samantha, he still thinks we're rebuilding. He cried when I showed him the ultrasound. Damien, you really going to let him believe it? Samantha, why not? It's useful. Useful. There it was. My entire existence in one word. I kept scrolling. Dozens of messages. Conversations that overlapped with anniversaries, holidays. The night I drove to 3 pharmacies to find her a specific brand of ginger tea, she was texting Damien from a hotel room 10 miles away. Then came the recordings. Her voice, soft and flirty, nothing like the version I knew at home. Samantha, Ryan's loyal. Predictable. I could tell him the sky was green and he'd nod. Damien, laughing, he sounds like a golden retriever. Samantha, exactly. He'll protect you even while you're stabbing him. I shut the laptop slowly. You knew what you were doing? I said. I thought I did. I thought I was the only one. You weren't, I said. Neither of us were. We were inventory. He leaned forward. If she takes this to court, spins it, I want my name clean. We do this right, I said. She won't even have a version to spin. He nodded. I'll give you everything. Good. I handed him a printed copy of the nurse's signed statement. He looked at it like it burned his hand. I didn't know she was capable of this, he said. I did, I replied. Just not soon enough. We agreed to share all files. Combine records. Create a timeline. Not for revenge. For insurance. That night, I opened the drive again, this time alone. I organized everything into a master folder. One headline above it all. Controlled narrative. Do not delete. Because this wasn't her story anymore. It was ours. We didn't need to say it out loud. She underestimated both of us. Damien and I worked like accountants building a tax audit. Cold, focused, efficient. We sorted everything, every message, every voice memo, every timestamped lie, and merged them into one unified archive. The truth didn't just speak. It screamed. I got the affidavit from the nurse a day later. Signed, dated, legally valid. She described the DNA mismatch, Samantha's reaction, and confirmed that I had not been informed until that moment. That alone made it more than a betrayal. It made it fraud. We called the master folder the archive. Inside, a folder of chat logs spanning 11 months. GPS-tagged photos of her in hotels, in our apartment with him. Audio of Samantha describing me as a comfortable decoy. Copies of her insurance forms where she listed me as legal spouse during prenatal coverage. And the hospital's pre-screening results. We had everything. I wasn't interested in legal revenge alone. I wanted something she couldn't erase. Read it. Damien suggested one night, hunched over the table at Connor's. I nodded. Or a men's forum. Anonymous, detailed, timestamped. We stripped names. Let the facts stand. We drafted the post like a legal brief. Title. I found out I wasn't the father. Then I found the other man. We compared notes. Intro paragraph laid it all out. DNA test, affair with her manager, coordinated deception. Each section detailed a phase. Her stage breakdowns. Faked intimacy. The pregnancy reveal. The delivery room ambush. And finally, our collaboration. No embellishments. No emotion. Just the truth in perfect sequence. We posted it on a Sunday night. By Monday morning, it had 15,000 upvotes. By noon, 40,000. By evening, it had been copied, reshared, and dissected across 5 platforms. A TikTok creator read it aloud like it was a thriller. She told him the baby was his, then told her boss it was no strings. But the nurse had records. Viral. Comments flooded in. This is chilling. The audacity of this woman. I just scheduled a paternity test. He handled this like a tactician. Then came the DMs. Men from all over the country. One message from a guy in Texas. Bro, I was about to sign my kid's birth certificate. Read your post. Got a DNA test. Turns out, not mine. You saved me. I didn't feel heroic. Just relieved. For once, she didn't control the narrative. She couldn't spin it with a caption or weaponized silence. It was out there. Permanent. That night, Samantha messaged me. Samantha, was that you? I didn't answer. 10 minutes later. Samantha, you're ruining my life. An hour after that. Samantha, I made mistakes. But this? You're going nuclear. I turned off my phone. She'd manipulated 2 men, built a false family, constructed a public image out of curated lies. And now she was upset because reality fought back. Let her panic. The damage was already done. The archive had been downloaded 2,300 times in 48 hours. Her Instagram disappeared by day 3. Her LinkedIn was set to private by day 5. And by the weekend, mutual friends started calling, not to defend her, but to say, we didn't know. She always seemed so together. Exactly. That was her game. But now? Now she wasn't a strategist. She was a case study. By the end of the first week, she stopped pretending. No more curated posts. No hashtags. No more inspirational captions about motherhood. Just digital silence and the occasional block number trying to call me. The archive was still circulating. Thousands of shares. A few podcasts even picked it up as a case study in paternity fraud. I didn't listen. I didn't need to. One morning, while grabbing coffee, I ran into her sister Lena. I almost didn't recognize her, hair tied up in a messy knot, dark circles under her eyes, hoodie swallowing her frame. She was pacing outside the cafe, arguing on the phone. I told you, Kayla, no one wants to clean up your mess anymore. You played 2 men like they were stupid, and now you're shocked you got caught. Her voice dropped when she saw me. Ryan. Lena. She stepped forward, unsure whether to apologize or run. I didn't expect to see you here. I live nearby now. She looked down at the sidewalk. She's not doing well. I didn't say anything. She lost her job last Friday. HR said the exposure online made her a liability. Still nothing from me. She's tried to find legal help, but no one wants to touch her case. Some of them saw the post, said there's no way to counter it. I nodded once. She asked me to talk to you. Said she wrote a letter. I didn't read it. Just tossed it. Smart. Lena exhaled, half a laugh, half a sigh. She's blaming everyone but herself. Says you humiliated her on purpose. Says Damien manipulated her. Says I abandoned her. Classic. She doesn't get it, Ryan. She's still trying to control the narrative. Then she hasn't hit bottom yet. Lena looked up at me for a long second. I hope she does. Because if not, she'll do it again to someone else. I didn't respond. I didn't need to. That afternoon, Damien texted me. Damien filed the custody paperwork. Official now. I called him. Joint or full? Full. She's not fit. Emotional instability, pattern of manipulation, documented deception. The lawyer said I have a solid case. And if she fights it, she will. But the evidence isn't on her side. He hesitated. Then added, she tried to contact my wife. I raised an eyebrow. Why? To apologize. Or manipulate. Hard to tell. She said she wanted closure. My wife forwarded the voicemail to my lawyer. She's spiraling. Good. We paused. Then Damien said, you still thinking about the final play? I am. What does it look like? Clean. Public. Controlled. You want to humiliate her? No, I said. I want the truth to speak for itself. In front of the people who believed her the longest. Work people. Family. Friends. The ones she performed for. He went quiet. Then said, let me know when. I ended the call and stared at the corkboard in Connor's garage. It had everything pinned, screenshots, the affidavit, timeline printouts. It looked like a war room. Because it was. That night, I received another message. No name. No number. Just an anonymous email with the subject line. You made your point. I opened it. One sentence. I hope you're proud of the damage. No signature. No apology. Just an accusation. She wasn't sorry. She was exposed. And exposure for people like her is the one thing they can't manage. I poured a glass of water, went back to the board, and moved a pin. I was done reacting. The next move would be mine. And it would be the last one. The invitation came through a mutual friend. One of Samantha's old college buddies, someone who hadn't yet read the archive, forwarded me a flyer. Reclaiming Identity, a talk on resilience by Samantha Hale. Hosted by Jensen Equity Partners, April 7th, 6 p.m. Of course, a motivational talk about resilience, about how she rebuilt after a difficult breakup and life-changing events. The caption practically begged for applause. I didn't reply, just screenshotted it and sent it to Damien with 2 words. It's time. We didn't need rehearsals. The evidence had already been reviewed, verified, curated. All that was left was setting the stage. April 7th, Denver. A small auditorium in a co-working space. 75 seats, RSVP only. Business casual crowd. HR managers, junior execs, LinkedIn types who drink wine like it's networking. She was already speaking when I arrived. I stood in the back, waited. Damien was seated 2 rows in, silent, unnoticed. Samantha stood under soft lights, wearing a pale blue blazer, holding a wireless mic. She looked calm, polished, the version of herself she always presented to the world. Sometimes, she said to the room, you have to lose everything before you realize what you truly needed was a chance to start over. The audience nodded. Scribbled notes. I used to define myself by who I was married to, she continued. But healing is reclaiming your own name. And right there, as the audience clapped, I stepped forward. Laptop under my arm. Flash drive in my pocket. I walked up the side aisle slowly, deliberately. When she saw me, her mouth froze mid-word. Her eyes flickered, fast, calculating the room, the exits, the risk. I didn't stop. I walked to the side table where the projector laptop was set up. The tech guy looked confused. I leaned in. I'm next, I said. He hesitated. Samantha stepped forward. No, you're not. This is private. You said it was public, I replied, loud enough for the crowd to hear. Community talk. About truth. About healing. Some people chuckled awkwardly. Others turned toward her. She walked toward me, voice lowered. What do you think you're doing? I'm ending the performance. I connected the drive. The projector blinked, then lit up the wall behind her. First slide. Timeline of deceit. Conception, falsified. Paternity, confirmed false. Birth certificate, unsigned. Emotional fraud. Documented. She lunged for the laptop. Too late. Second slide. Selected screenshots, messages between Samantha Hale and Damien Voss. He thinks I'm exhausted from work. Really just exhausted from faking affection. He's so obsessed with being a dad, it's pathetic. Gasps from the front row. She spun to the crowd. This is fake. It's been doctored. Third slide. Audio clip, Samantha Hale, March 2nd, recorded by Damien Voss. Her voice filled the room. He'll never know. He's too busy being the good guy. I almost feel bad. Almost. She grabbed the mic. Stop it. This is harassment. A woman from the audience stood. Is that your voice? Samantha paused. It's out of context. I stepped forward. It's the full context. But feel free to explain. People were already whispering, pulling out phones. Get out, she hissed. No, I said calmly. You built this stage. I'm just closing the scene. Security moved, unsure who to remove. But no one intervened. Final slide. Affidavit from nurse Jill Carrington. Confirmed DNA. Confirmed Samantha's reaction. Confirmed I was deceived. Samantha backed away like the air had been sucked from the room. Someone from the hosting group stepped forward, clearly panicked. We need to take a break. But it was over. I closed the laptop. Turned to the audience. Before you clap for resilience, I said, make sure it's not built on fraud. Then I walked out. Outside, Damien was waiting near the corner. He didn't say anything, just nodded once. I nodded back. By midnight, the recording was online. Someone had filmed the entire thing. It spread faster than we expected. The post was titled, HR speaker gets exposed mid-talk by ex-husband with receipts. She tried to shut it down. Claimed defamation. Claimed mental harm. But the affidavits were public. The data was real. Her brand collapsed in 3 days. By Friday, she deleted every profile. Not one message came after. No apologies. No more games. The mask had fallen. No more cameras needed.